Hi, my name is Deamon Scapin, and I live in Washington, D.C. in the District of Columbia, and I have the pleasure to serve as CUFI's D.C. Pastors Network Coordinator. And I also have the joy of giving you a little snapshot of Lesson 4 in the Israel course, A Light unto the Nations. Now, so far you've learned about God's covenant with his people. You've learned about the Christian connection to the land, God's covenant with the Jewish people, and the deep connection between the people and the land. Now we're going to further develop an understanding of Jewish peoplehood in the modern era. And we realize that the Jewish people have been exiled for 2,000 years from their homeland until the formation of the modern state of Israel in 1948. So I want us to jump into one of the foundational texts of the modern state of Israel, their Declaration of Independence. So if you'll look in chapter 4 at the end in the additional content, I want us to read a little bit from that Declaration of Independence because I believe we can see the founders' vision and the values that become embodied in the modern state of Israel. And it's important because when we look at the founders' vision and values, we see not only what the vision is, but how it actually plays out in the modern world today. Let's look at a few passages from the Declaration. Eretz Israel, the land of Israel, was the birthplace of the Jewish people. Here their spiritual, religious, and political identity was shaped. Here they first attained to statehood, created cultural values of national and universal significance, and gave to the world the eternal book of books. You can see right off the bat, there's this attachment to our ancient homeland, to the Jewish people's rootedness in the land and their history in the land and how formative it is to their culture. And then it goes on to say, after being forcibly exiled from their land, the people kept faith with it throughout their dispersion and never ceased to pray and hope for their return to it and for the restoration of their political freedom in it. So there's also this acknowledgement of exile and this longing, this intrinsic desire to return to the land. And now I believe that this is a lot more than just the founder's vision, but it ties into something that's so much larger. In Isaiah chapter 49, verse 6, we see that God says through the prophet Isaiah, it's too small of a thing for you to be my servant and to restore the tribes of Jacob and bring back those of Israel I have kept. He says, I will also make you a light unto the nations. So the founders of the modern state of Israel's vision is bigger than just a Jewish state, although it includes the importance and significance of the Jewish state. But it's because that's what the God of the Bible promises to us. So think about the impact that would have on a people who has been characterized, their identity shaped by longing for a homeland. What would that mean to know that now there's actually a vision to move forward? There's actually a path for this dream to become a reality. What about us? Maybe as we consider, what do we do when we finally get what we've been praying for a very long time? Well, I'll tell you what we do. We steward it wisely. And that's exactly what the founders of Israel did in composing these documents. And it's what they've lived out. And so one of the characteristics of the modern state of Israel and the way that it plays into the founder's vision is that it would be a democratic state, but it would have decidedly Jewish characteristics. So it really shows us how Judaism and how democracy merge into a modern state. So there are certain elements of society that are decidedly Jewish. It's a Jewish state defined by Jewish identity. So if you look at the flag, you have the Star of David. If you listen to the national anthem, Hatikvah, you see the themes and the deep connection of the Jewish struggle and the longing for land, their connection and the desire in the state for all of the Jews to return to the land. But you also see in this modern state of Israel a desire for a global and vibrant society, a beacon of hope and freedom. So they've embraced the biblical mandate and saying, look, it's about us, but it's also bigger than us. And God has made Israel that light unto the nations. In fact, if you look at Israel as a democratic state, you see that it's defined by equality for all and enfranchisement for every single citizen. In fact, all citizens are equal under the law, regardless of their faith. In fact, a quarter of the population of the state of Israel are minority communities. You've got Arabs and Aramaeans, Baha'i, Druze, Bedouins, Christians of all different kinds. And you see the mission and the vision of Israel to really be a safeguard and a haven for minority rights. Though it was established as a decidedly Jewish state, Israel recognizes 15 religions and formally give them the freedom to exercise their faith and to observe their holy days. And Israel even engages in protecting all of the holy sites from all of the religions. Israel is a light unto the nations. It's not a melting pot where people come and lose their identity, but it's a beautiful mosaic celebrating the diversity of God in the land. It's the only state in the Middle East where Christians can actually be protected. It's a safe haven for a myriad of minority groups. It's literally a foretaste of what the prophet Isaiah said when he says, "In the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it." Many peoples will come and say, "Come, let us go up to the mountain of the Lord, to the temple of God, of the God of Jacob. He will teach us his ways so that we may walk in his paths. The law will go out from Zion and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem." Israel, as you'll see in this lesson, is truly a light unto the nations.